Canada has opened a vital new bridge, absorbed a costly revenue concession, and kept its strongest energy weapon holstered. Yet the real collision is still ahead. On August 19th, additional 50% US tariffs could strike nearly $20 billion in Canadian goods, while one steelmaker is already losing about $600 million annually. Welcome back to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada can answer with infrastructure, investment, new markets, and reliability. But can restraint create leverage before factories pay the price? Here are the 5 developments testing Canada's strategy, and whether Washington is feeling pressure. Number 5. Bridge breakthrough. Canada pays dearly for faster trade. The Gordie Howe International Bridge opened July 27th, linking Highway 401 directly with Interstate 75 through 6 traffic lanes, 16 toll lanes, and 60 inspection lanes. For automakers, that is more than concrete and cables. Engines, transmissions, electronics, batteries, stampings, and completed vehicles often cross the border repeatedly, so fewer delays can protect just-in-time production. The controversy is financial. Canada agreed to provide annual payments equal to 50% of positive net bridge revenue for the first 15 fiscal years to a US-controlled development fund. Carney argues the wider trade benefits outweigh toll income. Perhaps, but Canada financed the crossing, making this bargain impossible to dismiss as mere accounting noise. The bridge may keep automotive components moving, but faster trade means little if the next tariff wave makes those shipments dramatically more expensive. Number 4. Tariff deadline. Canada keeps its oil weapon holstered. August 19th is the pressure point. Additional 50% US tariffs are scheduled to hit selected Canadian goods, including wine, cement, clothing, dairy products, furniture, and recreational equipment, covering nearly $20 billion in imports. Energy, potash, certain minerals, fish, and products already under Section 232 measures are excluded. That leaves Canada's strongest lever, oil, untouched. Carney refuses to restrict exports, arguing that dependable supply is a strategic asset, especially because American refineries are configured for Canadian heavy crude. The logic protects long-term credibility and avoids self-inflicted damage. Still, leverage sitting unused is merely potential energy. Washington must decide whether Canadian restraint signals reliability or reluctance to retaliate when pressure peaks. If Ottawa refuses to tighten the energy valve, it needs another pressure point, and that means finding more customers beyond the American market. Number 3. Beyond Washington, Canada builds new global trade lifelines. Carney's escape route is diversification. Canada already claims preferential access to roughly 1.5 billion consumers and wants to double that reach through prospective agreements involving ASEAN, India, Thailand, and the Philippines. Progress includes a signed Ecuador trade agreement, completed negotiations with the United Arab Emirates, and a strategic exports office designed to help firms secure international contracts. China also eased selected barriers affecting canola, seafood, peas, and related products, potentially unlocking nearly $3 billion Canadian dollars in orders. Automotive opportunities include battery minerals, charging hardware, software, metals, and advanced components. Yet geography remains king. Overseas markets cannot quickly match America's proximity, integrated factories, and truck-friendly supply chain built across decades of trade. Canada may be opening alternative trade lanes, but the top 2 developments reveal whether it has the infrastructure and financial endurance to make that strategy work. If you are finding this breakdown valuable, hit the like button and subscribe to Piston Pundit. It helps us reach more automotive, trade, and policy enthusiasts just like you. Now, let's shift into the top 2, where Canada's largest investment ambition collides with a much harsher commercial reality. Number 2. 200 billion Canadian dollars pipeline bet. Reality slams the brakes. Carney framed US trade pressure as a reason to fast-track major Canadian infrastructure. Ottawa and Alberta are discussing a West Coast oil pipeline alongside the Pathways carbon capture network. Projects Carney says could unlock more than 200 billion Canadian dollars in investment and 175,000 jobs. The opportunity spans pipelines, heavy trucks, compressors, steel, engineering, and specialized fleets. But Enbridge's July 31st decision to postpone a 250,000 barrel per day mainline expansion exposed the hard truth. Political enthusiasm cannot replace contracts, financing, approvals, indigenous consultation, or committed customers. Canada has the resources. Now it must prove producers, lenders, governments, and buyers will actually build and use them. But blueprints and billion-dollar projections do not pay today's invoices. The number one development reveals what American tariffs are already costing a critical supplier inside the automotive production machine. Number 1. $600 million tariff shock. Canadian auto steel suffers. Canada's newest data supports Carney's resilience argument, but exposes costly weaknesses. June merchandise exports reached a record 77.5 billion Canadian dollars, while motor vehicle and parts shipments rose 2.4%, and second quarter automotive exports surged 19.3%. Manufacturing also expanded strongly in July. Yet 69.5% of merchandise exports still went to the United States, and currency weakness flattered the headline value. More troubling, ArcelorMittal said U.S. steel tariffs cost its Canadian exports about $150 million quarterly, or roughly $600 million annually. Specialized steel remains difficult for American automakers to replace, but preserving market share while absorbing that bill is hardly victory for Canada. That $600 million burden changes the entire scoreboard. Canada may be keeping its industrial engine running, but August 19th could determine how much longer manufacturers can absorb the heat. Final verdict: August 19th exposes Canada's true leverage. Carney's Red Deer defense showed that Canada has options, but August 19th will reveal whether they create leverage or merely soften the blow. The bridge is open, exports are rising, automotive shipments are recovering, and Ottawa is building new trade routes. Yet Canada accepted a costly revenue concession, remains heavily dependent on U.S. demand, and still lacks guaranteed tariff relief. ArcelorMittal's estimated $600 million annual burden proves the industrial damage is already real. Carney's strategy is disciplined, diversified, and patient. But unless it produces measurable concessions from Washington, Canada is not winning yet, it is simply absorbing pressure more effectively. So now we would like to hear from you. Do you believe Carney's restrained strategy will produce meaningful tariff relief? Should Canada use its energy exports more aggressively as leverage? And can new global markets genuinely reduce Canada's dependence on the United States? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section. Subscribe to Piston Pundit and turn on notifications so you do not miss our next vehicle updates, industry developments, and upcoming videos. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There is plenty more to explore. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.